How many guys that you've worked with in the SAS or any other parts of the military have like wanted to stay in the military and keep doing operations?
So I think like everyone would.
Everyone would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
But life changes around you. People have families. The conditions around it. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of people who just get worn out. There's no reason. We keep ourselves very, very fit. It's one of the main mitigations to some of the other damage that gets done and the maintenance of it. But essentially, and I think everyone would stay as long as they possibly could do. But some, it just becomes completely incompatible with outside life. People make their own decisions. There's a lot of high rates of separation in all militaries, special forces units, because you're required to go away a lot.
You mean separation, like spousal? Separation
from spouse and everything else, But a lot of those relationships may not have worked anyway. Again, it's those factors that you can't. It's too easy to just turn around and specifically put the job as the single unit of fault every single time. That's not, but it's a key part of the pattern, the context.
Right.
So many other professions suffer the same thing. That's certainly not unique. But I think when you start, everyone would love to stay on as long as they can. People want to be operational. There's lots and lots of training jobs. There's lots of jobs of extremely high value that don't mean going away on operations or anything, especially in this world. Where you've got so many domains of military effect as such as part of an overall strategy. They've just declared cyber was the fourth, space the fifth, now industry's the sixth. So,
but don't a lot of guys that come out of the military or retire from the military, don't they go back to be part of like special operations in other parts of the world, like at an older age? Like I know now, like in Ukraine, I know there's a lot of like veterans, like U.S. veterans and special operations guys that are like up there, like in their 50s, that are going over there to fight.
So there is a network, and to do security. Security is a very, very broad word. So what you're talking about, some do. The people who went over and supported the Kurdish against the Islamic State. One of them was jailed in Turkey. He made a fundamental miscalculation, and he ended up being regarded as having supported a terrorist group himself, because that particular portion of the Kurdish, the Turkish deem are a terrorist organisation. So you have to be really careful exactly how you're going to be perceived by others when you do it. There are a lot of people that go on and serve alongside others willingly, and many for very, very good reasons. Personally, I'm not. From when I left, I said, I want to orientate into a different career, a different sort of opportunity in business, and also, a lot of people become very high-level security, and you have to have an SIA license in the UK for this, and I've let mine lapse because I really want to engage and be useful somewhere else. So yes, there are a lot. And how valuable they are in their contribution, I think differs greatly. And I think there is always a danger that it's always been what you've known, so you're just going to keep on doing it. Yeah. And and essentially in my background, I've got people I've made promises to as well, and that stood up when I had a duty to do them. Now I'm going to do it willingly on my own volition.
What do you mean?
Just because. So when I've got people that depend on me for stuff, and whilst you're doing a duty, that's that's obvious, right? It's non-negotiable. You're doing it, and you're doing your job well by doing it.
It's got to be harder for guys that don't have families. Guys who are just single and they have no one.
I think it does go very differently, and I think, but also there's a risk if that becomes your only way. Remember, you're getting older, a chance to build a full life, because the military is a full life, but it's very directed down a tunnel. I'm not sure quite how.
That's a good way of putting it.
you're not exposed to all of the other parts of life.
Right.
And when you leave, you have that opportunity to do it. It's remarkably a healthy thing to do. I was talking to a legal guy in tech not long ago. He simply couldn't get his head round that I'd done a career for 23 years and I'd stopped, and now I was going to do learn to do another one.
It's rare, right?
Most of my friends have been with their same company for 21, or at least in the same industry, 21, 22 years. It's not rare amongst us, right? People choose certain paths, and my path has been get out, engage, find, go embrace opportunity a bit, go and explore whether that's going to suit or right, and add some value where you can. But if you're not proving your fullest amount of value, there's a next step down the path to make. Keep on engaging, you'll go there. Other people do choose to do security orientated jobs for the rest of their time, and they're extremely well paid, but they mean long periods of time on oil installations. A lot of oil installations, you have a very big pertinence in running the security that guard them, and there's lots of jobs that fall there.
You said oil installations?
Oil and gas industries.
Okay.
So obviously they're in very remote locations. They need some security being doing, so a lot of ex-members go into those sorts of industries. And I've kind of elected, I haven't ruled out, but I've elected to try and engage in what I'm involved in now, and learn and adapt to become, almost go into another whole career. So it's just your personal choices. There's no right or wrong in any of it. And people are content with what they're content with. For me, I want to build that life back around me. I'm certainly not sentimental in my outlook on that. It's not like I feel I owe anything or anything. I just think it's going to be better when I'm 55 or 60 that I've done that. And I'm sitting there with all of that bolted together, and that means precluding certainly better paid work, but it means which would mean 6 months, a year away, living away.